Chapter 8, entitled Attaining the Supreme, text number 11. Okay. Yadaksharam Veda Vido Vadanti.
Yadaksharam Veda Vido Vedanti.
Vishanti Yadyatayo Vitaragaha.
Vishanti Yadyatyo Vitaraga.
Yadichanto Brahmacharyam Charanti.
Yadinchanto Brahmacharyam Charvanti.
Tate Padam Sangrahena Pravakshe.
Tate Pradam Sangrahevna Pravakshe. Person who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sage in renounce order, enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practice celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation.
Okay. You can start the purport. Yeah.
Yeah. Lord Shri Krishna has renounced to Arjuna that practice Satkara Yoga, in which one places the air of life between eyebrows, taking it for granted that Arjuna might not know how to practice Satkara Yoga. The Lord explained the process in the following verse. The Lord says, the Brahman, although one without a second has various manifestation and features, especially for impersonalists, the Akshara or Omkara. The syllable Om is identical with Brahman. Krishna has explained the impersonal Brahman, into which the renounced order of sage enter. In the Vedic system of knowledge, students from the very beginning are taught to vibrate Om and learn of ultimate impersonal Brahman by living with the spiritual master in complete celibacy. In this way, they realize two of Brahman's feature. This practice is very essential for the student advancement in spiritual life. But at the moment, such brahmachari, unmarried celibate, life is not all possible. The social construction of the world has changed so much that there is no possibility of one practicing celibacy from beginning of a student life. Throughout the world, there is many institutions for different departments of knowledge, but there is no recognized institution where student can educate in brahmachari principle. Unless one practice celibacy, advancement in spiritual life is very difficult. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya has announced, according to the spiritual injunctions, for this age of Kali, that is the age no process of realizing the Supreme is possible except the chanting of holy name of Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare
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 Ram, Hare.
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So interestingly, in the translation, the last sentence is, I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. So Prabhupada's explaining the name for this process in the purport, Sat Chakra Yoga. So there are different energy points in the body. Sat, do you know, Sat is Sanskrit. Do you know Sat means what? What does Sat mean?
Sat means truth. No?
Not in this case.
Okay.
You're right. You're correct. It means eternal.
Yeah.
Means eternal. Means truth. But not in this case.
Okay.
Echo. Echo means one. Dvi means two.
Yeah.
Tree, Sanskrit for three, tree.
Yeah.
Then chatur means four. Punch, like the Pandavas, right? 5. So punch is 5. And sat is 6.
Okay.
Sat means 6 in this case. And then sapta means 7.
Yeah.
Then asta means 8. And then nava, like Navami, Ram Navami, so that's the 9th day. And then dasha means 10, like Dash avatars. So Dash avatars, 10 incarnations, like that. So yeah, sat in this context means 6. And then chakra, you know, like Krishna has the Sudarshan chakra, it's a circle. So this is talking about there are 6 energy points in the body. So, I presume, I mean, I haven't heard a lot about this subject because we focus, of course, on bhakti yoga. Yeah. And this is a different kind of yoga system. So we don't, you know a lot of details about this system because we don't practice it.
More about it. Josh.
Huh? Yeah, Josh would know more, yeah. But presumably, because it's the energy points are called chakras, I presume that the energy is going in a circular motion. And you actually see that in the universe, that a lot of the things go in a circular motion, like the seasons, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't go in a line, does it? It goes spring, summer, autumn, winter, spring again, summer, autumn, winter, again, spring. You know, and we have Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga, then again another Satya Yuga, and then like that. So everything's going in a circle. The time, because that's time, right? So even time is going in a circle. In the West, we have this weird idea that it's all a straight line, that it started off just with no life, and then slowly life evolved and became more and more complicated. Like that, we have an idea, and it's becoming more and more advanced. But actually, in the Vedic culture has the real understanding that it started off highly advanced. It didn't start off with no life. It started off with the best life, you know, Lord Brahma, with the most intelligent life, and slowly it deteriorated. Then Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga goes down to the worst life, which we'll see that if we stick around for another 400 years or so, 400,000 years or so, and then it goes back to the best again. So we see in nature that everything goes in a circle, not a straight line. So it would seem to indicate here that also the energy in our body is going in a circular motion.
Tornado comes in circle too. You know, tornadoes?
Yeah.
Circle.
Yeah. And actually, you know, even in building and construction, the most strongest shape is a circle.
Circle, yeah, it's a pillar.
You know, like even like Mayapur, right? What is the roof like? It's a half a circle. It's a dome. Yeah. So that dome shape is very strong. Even if they make an arch, you know, for a bridge, right? When they make a bridge, it'll be an arch, like half a circle or whatever, and that's very strong when you have it like that.
The reason
for strong shape.
Reason for dome is that when you sing that Om, that sound come back to you.
Yeah.
That's why the dome is, yeah.
Yeah, so there are many benefits. It's stronger, the sound is better and everything like that.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are some people that choose to follow that yoga system. As we all know, that yoga means to connect with God. So the soul is trying to connect with God different ways. Why is there so many different yoga systems? Like we've explained, because we have different desires. Some people, like Josh, they want to connect with Brahman and the spiritual existence with the body, work more with the body. We in Bhakti Yoga, we work with everything. We work with the body. You know, you cut veggies in the Bhakti tree and you offer it to Krishna, and you're running around and doing work and stuff like that, serving prasadam at the farm or whatever like that. But also we work with the mind. You know, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. You know, work with intelligence. That's what we're doing now. We're studying these scriptures. That means we're working with our intelligence. And then also we're trying to connect our soul with the Supreme Soul, with God. So, you know, the body, the mind, the intelligence, the soul. And also we give our money to God, you know, like that. So our wealth also. So we try to connect everything we have, whatever we have. Our house, we use our house for the service of God. You know, you know, if we have partners, also in the service of God. The children, we try to connect them in the service of God. So it's like complete surrender, everything, not just the body, but everything. So yeah, Bhakti Yoga is very comprehensive. But interestingly, saying here in this yoga system, one may attain salvation. It doesn't say one may attain love of God. So although there are different kind of yoga systems, not necessarily the result of all of them are going to be the same result. Because there's a big difference between salvation, which we call that in Sanskrit, moksha or mukti, like that liberation in English. We say liberation is another name for salvation, or in Sanskrit, moksha, mukti, like that. So what does that mean? That means the soul can be elevated out of the material world into the spiritual realm. But there are different levels within the spiritual realm. So just basic salvation is like just getting out of the material world, so no more material bodies, but the soul merges into the spiritual light, the Brahman or the Brahmajyoti, the spiritual light. Brahman means spiritual, Jyoti means light. So that's would be indicated here by Krishna, that's the result if you follow this kind of chakra yoga. All you get is you get out of the material world and merge into the spiritual light. But as we know in Bhakti Yoga, you can get a much better result. Not only get out of the material world and free from birth and death, samsara, but you enter into Goloka Vrindavan, you know, the highest planet in the spiritual world, and you can live forever with Krishna and have wonderful relationships and be in ecstasy and bliss all the time. Satchidananda Vigraha, like that. So this result is just a basic result, but there's more better than that. And the Bhakti Yoga is the only yoga system where you can actually get to the point where you can see God face to face. You can have a loving relationship with God. If you follow Sat Chakra Yoga, you're not going to be seeing God face to face after you've finished this yoga system. You're going to be free from suffering, but there's not going to be much positiveness there. There's nothing negative. Obviously, you go into the Brahman, the Brahmajyoti, there's nothing negative there, but there's not much positive as well. Would you say just floating in light is very positive? Is that something you feel very excited about?
What do you mean, floating in the light?
Yeah, well, that's the liberation that these people get, just floating in light, just merged in light. Does that sound very, very exciting and wonderful and everything? Yeah. I mean, there's no more taxes there. Yeah. There's no boss standing on your head. You don't have to deal with the government like that. So there's nothing. There's no disease. There's no old age. There's no death. There's no rebirth. But just floating in light is nothing really positive. No. It sounds pretty boring to me.
Yeah, it is. What do you?
I mean, it might be nice in the beginning, just like you float in the water or something. But after a while, as you know, I mean, like sometimes I go in the ocean and I float on my back for 10 minutes or something. But after 10 minutes or something, I get pretty bored of just floating, floating in the swimming pool, or you know, you splash around the swimming pool for a while, but after a while, you get a bit bored of just floating in the water, and then you want to get back to activities again. True. You know, so that's the thing. In this kind of liberation or salvation, there's no activities. So for the soul, that's actually not natural, because the nature of the soul is always to be engaged in a loving relationship, and that means activities. Activities means what kind of activities? Having a loving relationship with us and Krishna, and with other servants of Krishna too, with other devotees. You're singing with other devotees, and you're cooking with other devotees, and you're dancing with other devotees and playing with other devotees, you know, centered around Krishna's enjoyment. So that is positive. That is what we're made to do. The soul was not made to float in light. That's not what we were made for. We were made to have a loving relationship, which is service, with God and other servants of God. Work together with others cooperatively with other servants of God. That's what we're made to do. That's what's natural, because that's what we're made to do. You know, whatever, like the knife is made to cut vegetables. It's not made to comb your hair. Well, I mean, you could have a hair like us, you know, but the knife is made to cut veggies. You can't use it to, steer your vehicle with or something like that. You know, it has for in the garden or something like that. You know, it's made for a specific purpose. So everything has a purpose. And when you use it for that purpose it's designed for, it's made for, then that's natural. But anything else is like artificial or unnatural. So, the soul is made to serve God and work together, like I said, with others. It's not made to float and light or anything like that. And it's not made to suffer in the material world either. And that's why no one's happy in the material world, because it's not natural. It's not natural. It's artificial for the soul to be in the material world. And it's also artificial for the soul just to be floating in the Brahman, in the spiritual light. When we finally reach the supreme shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, that's natural. That's what we're made to do, to fall down at Krishna's feet, in the dust of Krishna's feet, and engage in his loving service. Make garlands for Krishna, cook for Krishna, sing for Krishna, dance for Krishna, talk about Krishna, like that. And that's when the soul feels so happy. And that's why Prabhupada would be singing Jaya Radha Madhava, and then just completely shut down because there's so much ecstasy and tears would come out like a water pistol out of his eyes. But that's what we're made for. That's why we're so happy. When we sing Krishna's names and talk about Krishna, hear about Krishna, we become so happy. Like I got 2 opportunities to talk about Krishna in Brisbane, and I was so happy. I was just so happy just talking about Krishna. And a third time, then I wasn't talking, others were talking, but I was so happy just hearing them talk, because they celebrated the first year anniversary of one of Prabhupada's disciples named Kadamba Kanana Maharaj. So that was his Vyasa Puja, or you could say his appearance day, first appearance day celebration since he departed about a year ago, roughly about a year ago. So they celebrate that. So all his disciples were talking about him. And I was so happy. I wasn't talking at all. I didn't say anything that day, but I was just hearing, and that was so ecstatic, just hearing about the devotees talk about this other very advanced devotee and everything like that. So why are we so happy? Because it's natural. So that should be the result. How do you know if you're on the right path? You should become happy. If you, like Prabhupada said, that they used to be hippies, then they become happies. Yeah. They were hippies and they become happies. And the hippies weren't happy. The hippies were very, Prabhupada said, he noticed when these people came to him in the beginning, he said they were very dull-faced. No, it means no color, very dull, not shining. They were very dull-faced, and he said very morose. Morose means very sad, very depressed. But he said then they became happies. And he said they became bright-faced. He said bright-faced happies. They were dull-faced and morose in the beginning. Then when they took up the process of bhakti, which is natural, then they became bright-faced happies. Because when you are happy, then naturally you become brighter. You become brighter. It's very natural. Like Prabhupada was so bright. He was so effulgent. Many disciples, they would say, so many times Prabhupada appeared very effulgent. He was so happy. Krishna's service. But yeah, so different yoga systems, but they're not all getting the best result that what bhakti gets. They're just attaining salvation. It doesn't even say they definitely get it. It says one may attain. So not even guaranteed. Not even guaranteed they get the lowest kind of liberation. That's not even guaranteed. Whereas you'll read in many places, let's look at one where Krishna guarantees. Yeah. If you follow this process, It's guaranteed. You go get the highest destination. So 9:34, it's like the last verse, I think, of the 9th chapter. And this chapter is considered, like it says, the title of the chapter, the most confidential knowledge. This is said to be the, you know, the most, you know, highest knowledge, deepest knowledge. Very in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita is like the most, you know, very essence of the Bhagavad Gita is in the middle of this one. So, and this is the last verse of the essence of this chapter.
Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisance to me, and worship me, being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me.
Yeah, so it says, surely you will come to me. It doesn't say, like this one we were reading today says, one may attain salvation. It's Krishna is not saying in the 9th chapter here, talking about bhakti, that one may come to me. He says, you will come to me. Surely you will come to me.
And there's one shloka at the end as well, man manaman bhakte.
Yeah, it's almost exactly the same verse. The first 2 lines are the same and the second 2 lines. So that's 18th chapter, text 65, which is before the famous verse that just abandon all varieties of religion and surrender to me, Sarvadharma and Prachaja. So if we compare these 2 verses, 9:34 with 18:65, we'll see the first 2 are the same. Yeah. And if a person repeats something more than once, that means it's very important. There's only 2 verses that I know of which are repeated twice.
Yeah.
We can look at those other 2, but this you want to read this one?
Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me, thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this belief, because you are my very dear friend.
Yeah, so how about that? You can't get more guarantee, a better guarantee than that. I promise. This one he's saying, I promise without fail.
Yeah.
Like that. So it's not saying like this one may attain salvation. No, this is the guaranteed one. As this path of Bhakti Yoga. So this is what we call the sure fail. It's, you know, without any chance of failure. This is like guaranteed. This has got Krishna's stamp on it.
Yeah.
This has got his fingerprint on it. It used to be previously, if people are signing a serious contract, then they would cut their finger and put their finger on the paper. Their blood would be left on it. That's their stamp. Before they had stamps.
Oh, okay.
They just nick the finger and stick it on the piece of paper, and that's the guarantee. If someone does that, put their blood on the paper, that's done. That's never going to be broken. That one.
Seal.
Seal.
The seal.
Yeah.
What's got a melting thing there? What do you call that? A red color thing there.
The wax. Red wax.
And seal in there. It means guarantee.
Yeah, but originally, before they even bothered to make wax, they just put their blood on it.
That's right.
And you know how the ladies have that sindoor in the middle, sindoor.
Yeah.
In the part, this is called where the ladies have the hair going this way. Yeah. That's called the part. So there would be a red line there when the married ladies have a red line.
Yes.
And that's only the married ladies. If they're not married, they don't have that. Do you know what that means? Why the married ladies have a red line there?
Just indication I'm taken. Don't approach me.
Yeah, it is an indication they're taken. But how did that red line get to be there? It wasn't just they had some red powder in the beginning. That and many times, especially in the Kshatriya warrior circles, politicians, the princes would fight over to get the woman, to get the princess. They would fight. And only one person obviously would stay alive and the other one would be dead. So the living one would take some blood of the dead one on his hand, and he would, with that blood of the dead warrior, he would go like this to his new wife.
Oh, okay.
And that's his that's his wife. You know, so that's the thing. So that's it. From that time, no one's gonna go after her.
True,
Otherwise, he's gonna end up dead too. Yeah. So, but it's interesting, you know, the difference. And so, still in the 18th chapter is another very important verse, because this is also mentioned in the 3rd chapter.
Yeah.
So this is around 1872 or something like that, 73. Let's have a look. Just before you start, I'll just have a look. Or maybe I've gone a bit too far. Let's have a look. No, it's a bit too far. Let's go back a bit.
Yeah, this one, 68. The one who explained the supreme secret of devotee, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and he will come back to me.
Now that's also an important verse, but it's not mentioned twice.
No,
it's not mentioned twice. No, it's quite a bit. It's a bit earlier. I was gone a bit too far. Let's have a look. I think no, it's 48.
48?
Yeah, it's around 48. That's what I got wrong. Not 58, 48.
Okay.
47.
47.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is mentioned twice. The first 2 lines are mentioned twice.
It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may be perform it perfectly, than to accept another occupation and performance is imperfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reaction. That's chapter number 335.
Yeah, correct. You're onto it. That's good. Very good. Very good. So if we look between these 2 verses, we'll see the first 2 lines are exactly the same, and just there's a slight difference in the second 2 lines, but basically has a similar meaning.
Yeah, it is far to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faulty, than another's duty perfectly. Distraction is the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duty, for to follow another path is dangerous. That's what that verse I tell to Mahabhadra, because he tried to engage in everyone's duty, and then the whole restaurant is his responsibility. Even taking up the drinks in the front and the fridge, and making the salad. I said, I'm doing for 6 years.
Yeah.
Prabhu, what are you trying to say? I said, go and read 35 verse. You know, you just do your services even imperfectly rather than someone else perfectly.
Yeah.
Don't do it. So everybody has got their duties. You know, bread shopping, you does the scullery, and I do the front. And then time to time, just telling me what to do. I said, it's like, I'm not new. It's been 6 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, sometimes it's annoying, but then I understand he's got a medical condition.
Yeah.
So feel like every corner of the restaurant is his responsibility. I call him a GBC. That's he just had a lot of argument with the chef, a lot of argument with me, because the chef says, and then it's like he does that lemonade. That's his duty. Okay, he does, and leave the glass there, and then he tell that chef to be offer. He said, look, when I get my plate ready, I'll offer, and then unless you just wait, like 11 o'clock we offer the plate, and like he's just getting agitated. And then you're wasting my time. He said, what is wrong with you? You just do your duty and then leave it. And then, but he just interfere in everyone's service there. So anyway, that's his nature, I guess. But I'm working with him for 5-6 years. I think Brett was telling me he was worse back in Govindas when it was the city.
Okay.
He was worse. Better now. I say, if it's better now, what it was before. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I was trying to explain him to read that chapter 335. It's very important. Like, what's my duty is there, rather than suggesting a chef how to make curry. It's not my department. I would not be good at it anyway.
Yeah.
Even if I know.
But this point is, even if you were good at someone else's job, you still shouldn't do it.
It's
right. Better, even if your own job is not done perfectly, it's better to stick to that.
Yes, that's right.
In Vedic culture, everyone works according to their nature. If you're in the mode of ignorance, then you work according to that. If you're in the mode of passion, you work according to that. If you're in the mode of goodness, you work according to that. So Krishna has given everyone. Where do these duties come from? It comes from God. God is giving us a particular work. It's like God saying, okay, Mahabhadra, I want you to do this. Gulshan, I want you to do this. Brett, I want you to do that. GVC, I want you to do that. So everyone's given a particular work, and they should take it as a matter of duty. This is God's instruction, order to me. I should carry it out with full enthusiasm and everything. And I just focus on that. Don't look at what other people are doing.
What about in the general meeting? Would they give any suggestions? Like some other person can give a suggestion to other departments, like in like a temple, we got 8 people had the jury. Everybody has got a department. When they sit down on the meeting, would the anyone from the kitchen can suggest that in the temple room on the deity should be like that, or anyone from the cleaning department would recommend that in the kitchen? Like, would they any suggestion give, or they not even give a suggestion?
Yeah, I mean, it's not saying you can't do that, but it's like doing another person's work. I mean, one thing that's also going to happen it's like, okay, say, like in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, he doesn't want to do his work. So he wants to do someone else's work, which is, in this case, he wants to go to the forest and be like a sannyasi and just escape fighting.
Yeah.
But if Arjuna left the battlefield, what would happen? That would create what? That
would be like a the Duryodhana are going to take over, and then
so there's going to be a gap. There's going to be one job that's not going to get done. There's going to be one job that's not going to get done, and then you get the bad guy. He takes over the world, and how's Krishna going to feel about that?
That's not good. Yes,
that's not good. Krishna doesn't want the bad guys to rule the world. He wants the good guys to rule the world. But if the good guys, don't hold the front lines, then you've lost. So even that reminds me when they had the protests, a year and a half, 2 years ago in Wellington, protest about all the mandates and that. Then the protesters held a line, and they locked arms. They locked each other's arms. They locked each other's arms so that the police couldn't push through. And they would be calling out to each other, hold the line. That was the mantra. Hold the line, hold the line, hold the line. Because if one person pulled out of that line, then immediately there's a flood of police goes through. So that was their duty, and they took it very seriously. They would not let go. And we see on the pictures of police trying to pull them out and that, but they were really locked together, and they didn't give up their duty very easily like that. So Arjuna is also holding the line. We all are. It's like you're at the front of the bhakti tree. You're holding the line at the front, and Mahabhadra is holding the line at the back, and the cook is holding the line in the middle, and Brett is holding the whole thing together. Like that. So everyone has a part to play. And if the guy at the back drops out, or the guy at the front drops out, or the guy in the middle drops out, then it's all going to fall apart. So if everyone tried to do your job, but then who would do the back one, the middle one, and like that? So if everyone tried to do Brett's job, or everyone tried to, I'm sick of being at the front, I'm just going to wash pots, it's a lot easier, or whatever. Don't have to deal with people or something. But then it wouldn't work. It's not going to work. So Krishna has given everyone a specific job to do, and all together that's working very harmoniously. It creates like a complete whole, like that. Otherwise, it's going to be very dysfunctional, and that's what we have in the modern day society. It's very dysfunctional. Even sad to say, in ISKCON, it can get a bit dysfunctional because we don't really follow that. Although that's our own culture, that we have different duties to do, given by God. But we see often, like in ISKCON society, everyone wants to be a Brahmana.
Yeah.
You know, I want to get Brahmana initiation. I want to become a Pujari or whatever like that. But we don't want a society of only Pujaris. We also want some people that are like to clean the toilets and are good at clean the toilets. If no one wants to clean the toilets, well, that's another gap, you know. If no one wants to cook the feast, then that's a gap. If no one wants to give the class or whatever, you know, that's a gap. You know, if everyone just wants to be the temple president or everyone wants to be the priest, because these are the people that we think get the most respect and everything like that. You're going to get power and respect and everything like that. People are going to recognize you. If you're up at the front, you know, you're going to get some recognition and things like that. So everyone that joins the movement, they want to become the, you know, the person at the front. But that's not functional. That's not going to work very, very well.
What about when they are you know, reshuffle that even in the parliament, even Chanakya Pandit will say that somebody must not stay in their position more than 3 years. Every 3 year reshuffle to change the position of anyone, whether president or prime minister or general secretary or defense minister or anything. Same in the temple as well. You have to reshuffle and moving there too.
Well, you don't have to, but they tend to do that more and more as Kali Yuga goes on because they want to protect from what happening.
Or they're getting a bribe and they get
getting pride. They get proud, you know. So there's a saying: absolute power corrupts absolutely. There's a saying like that: absolute power corrupts absolutely. So it doesn't have to do that. I mean, Yudhisthira had absolute power; he didn't get corrupted. Parikshit Maharaj had absolute power; he didn't get corrupted. Prabhupada had absolute power; he didn't get corrupted. Yeah. But if you give me the absolute power, I'm going to have an inflated head, you know. So that's the thing, you know, because generally in Kali Yuga, we don't have those kind of qualifications to handle that amount of, you know, money and power and women and everything like that. We can't handle it.
Yeah.
And we see, you know, what's happened to some GBC, some sannyasis and blah 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 gurus, that, you know, it's gone to their head.
That was happened in Russia as well, you know, power in one person.
Yeah.
And Putin is one person hand in the power for last how many years?
Yeah.
And he did whatever he liked.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, but I was very inspired. I mean, recently Gopal Krishna Goswami passed away, and it was mentioned. I saw a few posts about it. He didn't even have a bank account.
Really?
He didn't have a bank account. He didn't have a car. Under his name. He didn't have a house under his name. It said all that he had to give away was a watch that Prabhupada gave to him, which he cherished. Oh. He had a watch that Prabhupada wore before he left.
Yeah.
And he had deities of Gaurnitai or something, which he said that they should be given not to a single person, but to a temple that has my disciples in that temple. Give it to a temple that has my disciples, my deities. But he had nothing except for the shirt on his back, you know. That's pretty good, you know. That's a real sannyasi, you know, really renounced, really detached, you know. So that's exemplary. He's very humble soul, not taking advantage of his position and things like that. That's the way a sannyasi should be. Yeah. But unfortunately, not all like that, you know. So therefore, it's actually not recommended. There's 5 things that are not recommended in Kali Yuga, and that's one of the things that are not recommended is sannyas, to accept sannyas, because Kali Yuga we tend to be, you know, have a lot of bad qualities, unfortunately, and not many good ones. So, you know, taking sannyas can end up often with a bad result in Kali Yuga. But you start exploiting the disciples and cheating and things like that, and for a big head and stuff like that. So. But I have to be careful.
I mean, it's like it's not only ISKCON. Every religious
of course.
place, even church or anywhere, you can see that.
Yeah, and the biggest crooks are in the governments around the world. They're the biggest crooks.
yeah.
There's like the illegal thieves and the legal thieves. The legal thieves are like the government.
Yeah.
And the illegal ones, you know, the guy that picks your pocket. But the government is the biggest pickpocket.
Well, both are thieves anyway.
There's so much coming out now, like, for example, about the CIA. I hope they don't hear this and come after me. But there's so much coming out, like, about the CIA. You know, that's the American Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, like FBI. You know, all these three-letter organizations. Yeah. Anything that has three letters is probably very dangerous. You know, like for example, WHO, World Health Organization, you know, and FBI, CIA, all these things are usually very evil. So it says that a lot of the drug trades around the world, according to all these, you know, these reports, a lot of the drug organizations and that, behind them, controlling them, is actually the CIA, which is supposed to be protecting the people from these organizations, but they're the ones that, and even like starting wars, they've traced back a lot of the recent wars to like CIA, you know, that they provide weapons to both sides. How's that?
Yeah, it's
they'll provide the weapons to the guys on one country, and then the opposing country, they also give the weapons, and they just blow each other to bits. And they make money from both. They'll make money out of supplying to the good guys or whatever. Everyone's a bad guy, but you know, into the bad guys and everything. So it's just so evil.
It's like a, you know, country is like a you know, corporation.
Oh, well. It's ridiculous. So this is what we're facing, Kali Yuga. But like we were saying, we should, rather than all this is like mental speculation and material desires. You'll see it verse after verse in the translations and purports that talks about two things. That if we want to advance in bhakti, you have to be free from two things. One is material desires or sense gratification, and the other one's mental speculation. Let's look at that. This is in the 11th chapter, the last verse of the 11th chapter, and it's around 55.
My dear Arjuna, he who engage in my pure devotion service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me to supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly in every living being, he certainly comes to me. What do you mean by mental speculation?
Yeah, so I'll just explain. So this is another way of saying material desires or sense gratification as fruitive activities, because fruitive activity means you're doing an activity. Why? Because you want the result. You want the fruit. Yeah. You want the phala. So what's your motivation for planting the tree? You want to eat the mango. That's why you're doing it. Why does a devotee plant the tree? To eat the mango? Why does he plant the tree?
The devotee just plant the tree so that he offered the fruit to the Krishna.
Yeah, the devotee plants the tree so he can give the mango to Krishna. But the fruitive worker or fruitive activity means you plant the tree to eat the mango yourself for your own sense gratification. So there's three different ways of saying it. Fruitive activity.
Yeah.
Material desire.
Yeah.
Sense gratification. It's all the same thing.
Okay.
Like material desire. You have a material desire. What's that? To eat the mango. You know, which is for what? Why do you want to eat the mango? Because you'll enjoy your senses. You'll enjoy your tongue and you will fill up your belly. So because you want to please your senses, gratify your senses, that's your desire. What's your desire? To gratify your senses, please your senses. So that means you're going to be engaged in fruitive activities. You're going to do everything to enjoy the fruit. Why are you working in the office? Why are you working in the factory? To get the money. What are you going to do with that money? Go to the restaurant and eat some, you know, flesh and wine like that. Why do you go to the, you know, sex parlor? To please your genitals. Why do you go to the casino? To get some more money so you can get more wine and get more women and stuff like that. Like that. So it's all to please the tongue and the genitals and everything. It's all for sense gratification. So these are all, Prabhupada uses terms like that, fruitive worker, or in this case, fruitive activity. you know, material desires, sense gratification. So this is repeated again and again and again in Bhagavad Gita. This is very dangerous. This is the very reason why the soul has come to the material world, because we want to enjoy without Krishna. We want to enjoy separate from Krishna. So that's the very reason why we've come to the material world. So this, we have to get free from that. So if you want to progress in bhakti, we need to give up these fruitive activities, material desires, sense gratification. That's very important.
And what's the mental speculation?
Mental speculation means that's the source. That's where the source or the origin of the material desires. That's where it comes from. Where does it come from? Your mind. Where do these desires come from?
Mind.
Your mind. You know what we just read in two places, 934, 1865. Man mana. What does he say? Man means mind. Maya means me.
Yeah.
So instead of thinking about your own desires, pleasing yourself, think about Krishna. Krishna's saying, think about me. So what are we supposed to do with our mind? Instead of thinking about, oh, I can enjoy with this woman, and I can enjoy eating at this restaurant and whatever, and I can enjoy getting to become the CEO, and everyone's going to love me and respect me and everything like that, and I'm going to create a big empire. You know, this is what we think about. I'm going to create a big empire, a big company and everything's going to revolve around me. So we dream about these things. What do we dream about? We're thinking about it day and night.
King will never surrender. King always thinking like that. So king cannot be devotee.
Yeah, king can be a devotee.
Like he always mental speculation how I can win.
No. Have you heard of Shivaji?
Oh, that is the Param Bhakta of Krishna.
Yeah, so he was a king. He was a king. What Yudhishthira is a king, and he's always thinking about Krishna. Like that. Arjuna is also a king. He's thinking.
Kali Yuga king doesn't. He's a Kali Yuga king. I
know.
Great Alexander, like he was just.
I'll tell you what. Prabhupada was telling some, Karamis, like some reporters or something, how the Vedic culture used to work, and there used to be one emperor for the whole world. There used to be one king, and the reporter asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, is there anyone today on this earth today that could rule the world? And then there was silence for a few seconds, and Prabhupada said, yes, me. Did you hear what I said?
I know.
Did Prabhupada say that with a big false ego? No, that was just the truth. That he is the only person, qualified. Because how is he qualified to rule the world? Because he's a pure devotee. He doesn't have material desires.
Yeah.
He fits these criteria.
Yeah.
He who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruit activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, makes me the supreme goal of life, and is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. So this is the kind of person that's qualified to do any job, whether it's ruling the world or teaching students or whatever. This is the qualification, to pure devotional service without being contaminated by these things. So see, these fruitive activities on material desires and stuff, sense gratification, that's where it comes from your mind. So that's why in the spiritual life in the beginning, what do we need to do in the beginning of spiritual life? Control the mind. Yeah. Every yoga system, doesn't matter what it is, the Sat Chakra yoga, Jnana yoga, Karma yoga, Buddha yoga, Bhakti yoga, it's all based on you have to control the mind. Yeah. If you don't control the mind.
That to Arjuna as well, control your mind. He says, I can control the wind from my bow and arrow, and asking controlling my mind.
Yeah.
It's not possible. Then Krishna say, that it's like, it's you keep trying that it will possible.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah. So
yeah, let's look at some verses about the mind. Control six chapter text around 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
No, a bit later. 6. Oh yeah. Oh no, 5. Yep. 6 chapter text 5 and 6.
Yeah.
7. Yep.
Yeah, that he said that for him to be, he has conquered the mind. The mind is the best friend, but one who failed to do so, mind will become a greatest enemy. And
the one before that, 5.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, yeah. One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is a friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well.
Yeah, so if you control the mind, it's your best friend. If you don't control the mind, it's your worst enemy.
Yeah.
And the 7th one is a beautiful verse, one of my favorites.
Yeah. For the one who has conquered the mind, such super soul is already reached, for he is attained tranquility.
Tranquility means like peace.
Tranquility, yeah. To such a man, happiness and a distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same.
Yeah. So the world is full of dualities. Dualities means, like black and white, or a coin. Like a coin has heads and tails. So that's the world: heat and cold, good and bad. Happy, sad, like that. But someone that controls the mind, they get free from these dualities, because all they're focused on is God, is Krishna. So they're become free from all these dualities, because they see Krishna in everything. We see something as bad, but a devotee sees that even the bad thing, that is also Krishna, and so it's not bad. Even what we might think is bad, but the devotee sees that, well, that is Krishna has arranged that I got sick, or that didn't work out, or whatever. This is part of Krishna's plan. This is good for me. The devotee knows Krishna is all good.
Yeah.
And the devotee focuses on Krishna, not on the heat and the cold, not on the honor and dishonor. He's just so absorbed in Krishna. So therefore he's peaceful. He's always peaceful. If it's hot, he's peaceful. If it's cold, he's peaceful. If it's happy, body is happy. What's that?
In Kali Yuga, people like that? Like, would it be possible in Kali Yuga?
Of course.
Everybody just thinking like, it's very hard to think that as equal way, regardless of richer or poor, or hot and cold, or distress and happiness. It's very hard. It's just physically not possible. Like, when you got angry, have you noticed your hands are like that?
Yeah.
You cannot be like that when you're angry.
Yeah.
It's just like, and you cannot smile when you're angry. Have you noticed? If you're angry, you cannot smile. Impossible. So,
yeah, but anger in itself is not a disqualification, but the question is, why are you getting angry? Like Hanuman, right? Did Hanuman ever get angry?
But it's like how can, like, okay, put it this way. My daughter, she's gonna become a lawyer in a couple of years' time.
Yeah.
If next door neighbor, his son is become a lawyer, I'll say, yeah, good. Law is a good thing. When my daughter become a lawyer, I feel just great. It's like, it's just, I cannot hide my happiness. But if the neighbor's son get lawyer, oh, good on you, man. Very good job. Good stuff. Yeah. But when my daughter, my chest has become like that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's impossible not to have these things.
No, I disagree that it's impossible. But yeah, still we're looking externally. Still we're looking at the externals. We're not fully engrossed or absorbed in the internal things.
If you look at it, how many kids get an architect every year? The year your daughter get graduated architect, your chest will become like that.
Maybe.
Of course, it's just natural. It's not unnatural. It's natural.
Yeah, I mean, it's natural when we're in illusion, but it's not natural when we're self-realized.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm not self.
Because and that's why we said we're conditioned souls. So these are the conditions that we work under: the heat and cold, and good and bad, and This is my family and your family. Prahlad, when his teachers, Sunda and Amaka, soon Nrsingadev's appearance day is coming up soon.
Yeah.
And so Prahlad's teachers were teaching him all atheistic philosophy, like what our modern education does. And they were teaching all these dualities, like that you have friends and enemies. Especially politics is based on this particular duality. You have a group of friends, those that are supporting you and your politics, and your enemies are those that are going against your politics.
Yeah.
So they always try to use the friends to push down the enemies. That's the basis of politics.
Yeah.
So that they were trying to teach Prahlad this, and he said, I can't relate to your lessons because I see everyone as the same. I see everyone as the same.
Yeah.
Do you know how he reacted when his father was being killed? And he wasn't being killed in, you could say, a very nice way.
Yeah.
His guts were ripped out, and he put his intestines around his neck like a garland. So how did he respond to his dad being ripped apart in front of him?
Very sadly.
Not at all.
No?
He was in ecstasy.
Wow.
That his father had achieved liberation. He was just standing like this, completely equipoised, completely composed. Just so ecstatic that the Lord had appeared to rescue him, to save him from this demon.
Yeah.
Who was manifested as father. And he didn't hate his father either. He actually said that after he was dead, Nrsingadev was very pleased with Prahlad, and he said, I want to give you a ashirvad, a blessing, a benediction. And Prahlad said, I don't want anything. But Nrsingadev kept pressing him. No, I want to give you something. He said, okay, if you want to give me something, then please liberate my father. What? The guy's been trying to kill him every possible way possible. And he's like acted as such an enemy to his own son. And the only reason why he did that, because the only so-called fault of Prahlad was that he was a devotee of God, who Hiranyakashipu hated God. So that was his fault, which is not a fault, but in his dad's eyes, it was a fault. So the father hated the son so much because of that, and even though the father was so envious of the son, tried to kill him so many ways, but Prahlad, the proof that Prahlad didn't have any bad feelings towards his father, in fact the opposite, he only wished the best for his father, is that, he could have got anything from Nrsingadev. He could have said, make me the king of the world, or give me 1,000 of the most beautiful women in the world, give me, millions of dollars or whatever like that, give me liberation, make me the king of heaven, whatever. God can give anything, right? He said, I don't want anything for myself, but if you want to give me something, then liberate my father. And Nrsingadev, what did he say? You don't even need to desire that. He's already liberated because he's connected with you. Because you're a pure devotee, anyone connected with you, you're all going 7 generations back and 7 generations forward, they're automatically liberated. You don't have to even desire their liberation. But it just showed, how equipoised and transcendental he was. He wasn't affected by dualities. He wasn't upset that God killed his father. He didn't hate his father on the other side. He could have, most people would be one way or another, right? Either you'd hate him for killing your father, or you would say you'd be happy that he killed this guy because he's trying to kill you. But he wasn't either. He wasn't happy and he wasn't sad. He was completely equipoised. So it is possible. It's definitely possible. And we see that in Prabhupada too. He was completely equipoised, completely transcendental. But we see, like with Hanuman, that Hanuman became very angry at Ravana, but not because Ravana had done anything to interfere with his sense gratification. Ravana had never done anything that I know of against Hanuman previously. But he was angry. Why? Because he stole Lord Ram's wife. You know, so he loved Rama, and this guy Ravana is such a rascal. How dare he take my Lord's wife? So he was so angry, and he burnt, you know, half of Lanka to the ground.
Lord Rama knows that past, present, and future.
Yep.
If Lord Rama knows that Ravana gonna come and do this stupid act, then why did Ravana got that much benediction? It's like, you know, given by Lord Shiva or Lord Rama to become so powerful, even if he knows that he's gonna do this stupid act. Why did he got so much benediction?
Yeah, because the Lord doesn't interfere with anyone's free will.
But then Lord knew that he's gonna come after my wife. Of course, Lord knew that, and then still he just give her a benediction to do that much power.
Yeah, because this is all part of the Lord's Leela, actually. Even Ravana, as we know, Ravana is not an ordinary demon. He's actually Jai and Vijay. They took birth in the material world as demons. Because why? Because God doesn't have anyone to have a play fight with in the spiritual world, because they're all devotees. What devotee is going to stick their hand up to have a fight with the Lord? No one is. So he has to come to the material world and fight with demons, because there's only demons who are in the material world that will fight with him. But ordinary demons are not strong enough to fight with the Lord. So Krishna has to bring devotees down from the spiritual world to the material world and make them think like a demon. They're not a demon, they're actually a devotee, but he makes them think like a demon, and so that they can have a good fight together. And Krishna enjoys that. Krishna enjoys that. It's all Leela. It's all part of the Leela. You know, and even like, you know, Sita's taken away from him, he also relishing that feeling of separation. It's a separation, you know about that, right? You know, what did Krishna was enjoying so much with his devotees in Vrindavan, and what did he do when he turned 16?
Bye. Oh, okay, he gone too.
He went to Mathura to kill Kamsa. That was the reason. Yeah. But you know, the ultimate reason is not just to kill Kamsa. You know, Krishna can just do that, or not even that, and Kamsa's going to have a heart attack. Yeah. Kamsa's just going to fall down dead.
Yeah.
You know, so the ultimate reason why he did that is to increase that feeling of separation between him and his devotees, and that increases the love.
Yeah.
So, in the Vaishnava philosophy, in the Bhakti philosophy, that's the highest relationship one can have with God, is with that feeling of separation. Not that we're in union with God. Yeah. That's called sambhoga. When we're with God, that's called sambhoga. But that's not the that's not the most ecstatic relationship. The most ecstatic relationship is called vipralamba. Vipralamba means when we're separated from God. Because then you think about, then the devotee thinks more about the Lord when separated from the Lord than when you're with the Lord. And the Lord thinks more about his devotees too. That's more intense. Like even in New Gokula, there was, in the early days when we were there was Sesha, was the farmer, Fijian devotee originally. So he was the farmer. One day he lost his mobile phone. Yeah. So it's not easy to find a mobile phone on a 500-acre farm, because he's wandering all over the farm. So what do you think the chances are you're going to find a phone that's dropped in 500 acres? It's not a very good chance. When the phone is in your pocket, do you think about it?
No.
Not at all.
When you lost, then that's
when it's out of your pocket, when it's away from you, you think about it all the time. So all we heard from Sesha, every time we saw Sesha for about 3 days after he lost his phone, is, where is my phone? Where is my phone? Where is my phone? So he was thinking about the phone when he didn't have it. When you have it, you don't think about it. Yeah. When you don't have it, you think about it. It's crazy, isn't it? So that's the way it works. So separation increases your remembrance of that object that you're missing, right? That you're separated from. So if you're feeling separation from God, is that good? Yes. Why? Because you think more about him. And why is it good to think more about God? What happens if you think about God more? And now if you think about God for half an hour and 24 hours, okay, and then next week if you can arrange that you think about God for 5 hours out of 24 hours, why is that better?
It's like you gotta be like, you know, more closer then. Like
yeah, and if you're more closer to God, why is that better? What's the big deal about being closer to God?
More closer, the job's done.
Well, job's done, but actually, what is the nature of God? Is he full of misery and suffering?
No.
He's full of bliss. Satchit Ananda. Ananda means bliss. Yeah. If you get closer to someone that's blissful, what's going to happen to you? You will get like all the devotees mention that. Whenever they got close to Prabhupada, it's like they were in a bubble of bliss.
Yeah. Same.
So they would be in anxiety and fear and everything. And when they opened that door of Prabhupada's room and walked in that room with Prabhupada, it all went.
Yeah.
Just being close to him, automatically you became blissful. Yeah. Just like that. The more thinking about Krishna is Krishna. It's not different. It's like Krishna's name, Hare Krishna. We're with Krishna. Yeah. You know, so Krishna's form, you know, like the deities, Krishna's name, Krishna's prasadam, Krishna's devotees, they're all different manifestations of Krishna. So when you're with those, like, you know, like I went for a week and I was with devotees a lot and I was feeling so happy. Yeah. Because I was close to the devotees. And like, the devotees are close to Krishna. So the devotees are close to Krishna. Yeah. And like that verse we read, 6th chapter, text 7, when you conquer the mind, the super soul's reached. So as soon as you conquer the mind and you become Krishna conscious, you control the mind, then immediately you're with the super soul. And if you're with the super soul, you're going to get depression. Huh? You're going to be in ecstasy. I mean, if you have a personal relationship with the super soul or with Bhagavan, with Krishna, you're going to always be happy.
Even sometimes, like, you know, the bhakti tree, there's some devotee comes. Oh, what? Can you hold for 1 minute? There's one call coming.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Oh. Sorry.
That's right.
Yeah.
All good?
It's about the van. Yeah, all good to ready to pick up. That's why he called. Okay. That's the thing. You know, if any devotee comes in a bhakti tree, then like, I don't know if they're devotee. Once they look at me and they say Hare Krishna, it's just like I feel like something different. Like, you know, I said, oh, Hare Krishna, how are you? Yeah. Good. And I explained, yeah, what do you like? This. But the other people come said, oh, I would like to have one full plate or this. Then okay, thank you very much. So it's like you are in the association with the devotee. It's like a fearlessness.
Yeah, like, because they're actually bringing Krishna to you. Like you said, when they see you, they say Hare Krishna. So they've said the holy name. So, that's, you know, right. Krishna's immediately brought into your consciousness. And when Krishna comes in your consciousness, then there's no more fear, no more anxiety. Like there's a verse, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Handika Yahan Krishna Tahanai Maya Adhikar, that's Bengali. It says Krishna's like the sun and Maya's like the darkness. Wherever there is the Krishna sun, there's no darkness of Maya. So you just blast immediately, the darkness of Maya is blasted away.
Because if you association with the devotee, it just feels like great. You know, whenever you are in the temple, I don't go to temple as much. Whenever I go, or even some devotee comes to Bhakti tree, and then it just feels so great. I love to serve them. At least some devotee came that I'm serving them with the prasadam. That's a wonderful feeling because the energy makes that.
Yeah, they reminding you of Krishna. I mean, you see the Kanti Mala, you remember Krishna, they have tilak on, they have the short hair and the sika, and they say Hare Krishna, Hare Bol, like that. So immediately you remember Krishna, and then you're remembering Krishna, so that means you're with Krishna.
Yeah.
Like that.
My brother called me yesterday. He said, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm okay. why do you call them? He said, I really had a dream about that, your death. And then you died, and we take him down to the cremation ground. And then we don't know what you got to do with the Kantimala. And they say, oh, no, he's a devotee, leave the Kantimala on it. Okay, what can we do with the, the chanting bead? He said, oh, put it on top of that. Or what are we doing with the photo? He's got some photos. And I said, what sort of photo was there? He said, I can't remember. He said, oh, leave it. And he said, whole night, I was doing your cremation. Whole 8 hours. He said, the whole night was cremation. And everything we're doing with that, and you're lying down there. Okay, we have to do with that. How do we do this cremation for the devotee? Oh, let's call some. I don't know how to do it. How can we? We don't want to do any mistake in there. So is that way? And they're asking that the Pandit was the priest. He said, I don't know. I'm not a devotee, Krishna devotee. He said, well, let's go to the temple. It's a whole 8 hours sleeping. I was doing your cremation. So, and the next day he called me. I said, no, I'm okay. He said, oh my God, it's like so tiring the whole night. And like everything, we make sure that he's a Krishna devotee, make sure cremation has to be that way. Otherwise, he's not happy. So
one way or another, Krishna's trying to make us Krishna conscious. Yeah.
Well, this the thing is like, and one guy, he was saying.
Because that said, I mean, Prabhupada said, if, like Krishna comes into your dream, that's not ordinary, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
However he might come, it doesn't really matter. But somehow Krishna or the devotee, if a devotee comes in your dream or like that, so that's very good for him.
I dream about Prabhupada twice, and he's a pure devotee. I mean, he wasn't preaching to me, but I can see he's preaching to the Westerners. He's sitting in the new Gokula, and I'm trying to go to him. I told you before that. And the second time as well, I can see him, but he wasn't directly talking to me, but I can see him. He was there. And then in the dream, it doesn't look like a dream. It looked like a real. When you open the eyes, it's, there was a dream. That's the thing. But yeah, no, it's like a, somebody said that you're not even initiated. And then I said, it doesn't matter. It's okay. My Guru Maharaj's photo is there. On top of the Guru Maharaj, my Guru's Guru, which is Prabhupada. And top of the Prabhupada is the Panch Tattva, and the top of the Panch Tattva Krishna. That's why you offer the food. That's what it is. And it's like, it's from the Guru's mercy, you will get Krishna. From the Krishna's mercy, you will get Guru.
Yeah.
So whenever Prabhupada says, whenever disciple ready, Guru will appear. I don't need to pray about it. Just
and for us, anyone in ISKCON means the Guru has already appeared. That's Prabhupada.
Yeah, Prabhupada is a Jagat Guru. It's like I follow.
And Prabhupada is arranging that we get help from other devotees.
That's right. So I just follow that, and then but he's not from ISKCON. He's from different organization.
Yeah,
and he comes
we don't have any problem with that. That's fine.
Yeah. So he bucked the tree, and then he was telling. I said, doesn't matter. It's okay. It's initiation is just a formality there. But I follow my Guru Maharaj and his Guru Maharaj, Radha Swami, and his Guru Maharaj is a Prabhupada. It's just the chain. That's fine. And then follow the 4 regulator principle, Ekadashi, and then read the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada said, just read my books. That's all. And there's one girl came that last week. I sold 2 books. One is Life Come From Life, and one is the Yoga one. Yesterday, last night she came. She said that the books you gave me that I read. I said, good. You like it? She said, yes. And I said, today, you got to be next book will be Bhagavad Gita. So she bought a Bhagavad Gita.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I said, have you been to the farm? She
said, Aussie girl.
Yeah, Aussie, Bianca. She's a white girl. And then, so it's the way I just feel like, because she live in her van. And she comes in the van. I look at the van very closely. I said, do you live in the van? She said, yes. I said, can I see your van? Because I'm converting my van into be a motorhome. She said, yeah, come and look at it. I said, I might get some ideas. I said, good. So she showed me that way, things like that. And then said, okay, read the Bhagavad Gita. And then another book she bought it as well. The 2 books there. So it's like slowly she was thinking, like, I said, go to the temple. You'll get the free food. He said, which day to go? I said, Sunday is a good day, but you can go any day. It's like Sunday, usually sometime I go. So it's like the thing is like you got to get connected, and then you feel like, yes, you're going in there. I'm not even initiated, but still, like, People that ask me, or anyone will say, even sometime in the Uber, they look at my my shikha and then they say Hare Krishna. As my sixth sense comes out, I say, oh, Hare Krishna. Like it means he knows that.
Yeah.
It feels great.
I mean, you may think you're not even a disciple yet, but you're actually already a guru. Did you realize that?
No.
Yeah, no, because you are actually setting other people on the path of Krishna consciousness already, because you're giving someone a book. Then you're giving someone a book. Someone's asking about your seeker. You're telling them about Krishna. So you're not only are you a disciple, you're already a guru. One time a devotee said to Prabhupada, it says in your books, Prabhupada, that without having a guru, you can't go back to Godhead. Does that mean that if those who aren't initiated, they're not going to go back to Godhead? Prabhupada said, anyone that has one of my books is already initiated.
That's right.
Yeah, it says, he says somewhere like, if you're not initiated, connected with the parampara, you can't go back to Godhead. And then Prabhupada said, no, anyone that has one of my books is already initiated.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there you have it. So you're already acting in the capacity of being a guru. So don't think, oh, when am I going to get initiated? You're already gone past that.
Like in their life as well, we are teacher and a student. When we learn something, we are student. When we tell something, we are teacher. Yeah. So it just goes like that.
So, the guru is simultaneously, I mean, the devotee is simultaneously a guru and a disciple at the same time. Yeah. He's always thinking, I'm the disciple of my guru, and he's acting as a guru to someone else, as like his disciple. So the disciple should never forget that he's a disciple and get puffed up and think, I'm the guru of everyone or whatever.
It's just like
and actually Prabhupada saw his disciples as his gurus. How's that possible? He thought of his disciples as his gurus. Do you know how's that possible?
It's like because his disciple reminds him his guru.
More than just reminds him of his guru.
Yeah.
But his disciples are helping him.
Yeah.
Listen to this. His disciples are helping him to carry out the orders of his guru.
Yes.
Prabhupada's guru gave him orders. What was the order? To spread Krishna consciousness over the whole world. Who was helping him to do that? His disciples. Prabhupada is seeing that these disciples have been sent by my guru to help me to carry out the orders of my guru. Therefore, my disciples are my gurus. That's far out. That is completely far out. Prabhupada's way of seeing things is amazing. You could think for years about just this one point, for example. Prabhupada, I tell you, is so deep.
Yeah.
His consciousness is so deep.
Yeah.
Many times Prabhupada would say Krishna consciousness is very sublime. Sublime means very deep, like the ocean. The ocean is sublime. It's we see the ocean goes this way, right? And the ocean goes this way. But it's a lot more than that. It goes this way a lot, so it's huge. So wow, that's profound. That's really profound. That's really deep. Let's just say a few things about the rest of the purport. So in this Sat Chakra Yoga, 8.11, in the beginning of the purport, it's talking about Om. So in this yoga system, that's what they focus on. That's what we chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And different sampradayas may chant different mantras. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Narayanaya. So there's different mantras. But these Sat Chakra system, they're usually impersonalists. These are normally impersonalists. So they're not thinking of God as a person. They're thinking God as energy. That's why I said they merge into the energy. They merge into the energy because that's their goal. Their goal is that God is energy, and they want to become one with God, one with the energy. So how do they address that energy? Like we address God by his names. How do they address the energy of God, Brahman? Oh, well, there's syllables, A-U-M. Oh. So that's what they concentrate on that. So we're saying Hare Krishna, and they're saying Om, but actually it's the same. You know, Prabhupada said, he said Om is like addressing God. It's a form of address to God, like we say sir, or my Lord, you know, my Lord or sir, like that. Whereas Krishna is the name of the person. Like someone might say, excuse me, sir. And someone might say more closer to you will say, hey, Gulshan, how's it going? Like that. So there's like a formal address. Oh, excuse me, sir. And then there's a personal address. Oh, Gulshan. You know, Gulshan.
Yeah.
Like that. There's a, you know, it's very, you know, personal address. That's you, the individual.
Hospital, doctor always call your name. The name is the thing that you just like open your eyes. And if you say, oh, hello, mister, or something, or if you say your name, and then it just comes in your sense and come out to open the eyes and see the doctor. Always they pronounce by the name.
Yes.
And more personal, you know.
Yeah. So whether you say Mr. or Sir or Gulshan, they're focusing on the same person, but there's one is more intimate, more closer, if you say Gulshan, and the other one's more distance, more formal, like that, without so much understanding. Like obviously someone just says Mr. or Sir, they don't have so much of a clear idea about who you are, like that. It's the same with these impersonalists. They don't have a full picture of what God is, so they just say Om, but they don't really know the person. They don't understand the person yet. And then in the rest of the verse is saying there that in this path, essential thing that's compulsory, they have to be brahmachari, means no sex life. So they have to be a celibate student to progress in this process. Our process is more powerful. It doesn't matter whether you're a brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi, because bhakti is so powerful, it just cuts through the lust. Through the lust, and you develop love. You develop the prema. You develop the love for God. And then even if you have prema, love for God, it doesn't matter if you have a wife or even 10 wives, it doesn't matter. You know, like that, or whether you're by yourself, it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters because you become transcendental, because you're developing love for God. And therefore, Prabhupada points out at the end that because this process requires that you have to be celibate, unmarried, you know, no association with the opposite sex, it's not practical in Kali Yuga. Because people generally can't do that. I mean, there are exceptions. I mean, like I mean, you were married before, and you know what it's all about and everything. So, and now you're Krishna conscious, and you don't feel the need for that. It's not really necessary. But generally, for most people, it's better to just, you know, remain with family. It's more easier in this age because people's mind are out of control.
They're not connected. They have to connect with someone. So if they're
because they're not connected with God yet. So we need something else, some other kind of relationship. But because like a devotee has a relationship with Krishna, therefore he doesn't need a relationship with the opposite sex. It's not so essential. It's not so essential. Therefore, so Prabhupada's saying at the very end that that in this age of Kali Yuga, that in this age there is no process of realizing the Supreme as possible except the chanting the holy names of Lord Krishna, Hare Krishna, like that. So through this understanding that all these other processes, you have to do so many things. You have to be brahmachari, you have to control your senses, you have to control your mind, blah, 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 that we can see that the people in Kali Yuga generally don't have any of these qualifications.
No.
So therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come and just said, whatever position you're in, just chant Hare Krishna, Gauranga, just chant Hare Krishna. It doesn't matter whether you can control your senses or not, or you control your mind or not, or you're married or you're not, or just chant
once you
Hare Krishna.
that everything will become in place. It'll be controlled by itself.
Yeah.
You don't need to. It'll be, I was eating meat. Once you're chanting there, where's the meat? Where's the beer? It's all gone. I didn't say, 1st of January I'll stop drinking or something like that. Or for 31st of December I'll be stop eating meat. No, it doesn't. But I just chant. I did not say, I promised to do. No, it happened.
Yeah.
So once you'll be chant Hare Krishna, everything will come in place.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about I have to be celibate, I have to be brahmachari. No.
That's right. You don't have to think about anything else. You just think about Krishna, and then Krishna, he comes into your heart, into your consciousness, and he clears out all the rubbish. Like even serious grihastas, they're living, husband and wife living together, but they don't have sex, if they're serious. And I went, I stayed in some devotees' homes, and I was impressed, because I could see that the husband stays in one room and the wife stays in another room. They don't even have sex. They've already had a child, has already grown up or whatever. They had a teenager or whatever. Both of them actually, they had three people's houses. They all had like teenage sons and daughters in there, and they live in separate rooms. So it means they don't have sex anymore, but they're living together and they're working together to serve Krishna, and they're doing great preaching. They do great service and so many services, and they have deities in their house and they're serving their deities, and they go to the temple and do services and stuff. So that's what happens automatically. Any of these things, that automatically the criteria becomes filled in later. Automatically you come, Krishna conscious, then automatically you become a brahmachari. Like Prabhupada said that Krishna conscious grihasta is a brahmachari. You understand that? So even the grihastas are brahmachari. Yeah. Because he doesn't have sex, except for producing children. Yeah. And once the children are there, you don't need to produce children anymore. That means no more sex. So that the grihasta is also brahmachari. So he said they're called grihasta brahmachari. Like that.
Our chef as well, Bhakti Tree. Yeah. And he's living there, but he sleep in the separate room.
Yeah.
Because his kids are grown, his daughter is 24, 22, two daughters. They live in Sydney. They don't live here in Sydney working there. But so he's living in separate room. Yeah.
And even sometimes the woman, woman's nature is they're very attached to a husband or whatever. So they might need to feel some, more, physical togetherness. So some grihastas, they also sleep in the same bed, but still no sex. Like if you read Krishna book about when Krishna was in Dwarka, he had 16,000 wives. Yeah. Right? And you read about, like Krishna is in the bed with Rukmini, and then when the rooster crows in the morning, cock-a-doodle-doo, then Krishna would get out of bed. That's Mangalarati time, right? Why does the rooster crow about an hour and a half before sunrise? Because that's nature's system to get you out of bed. Because did they have alarm clocks before that are going to ring at 4 o'clock in the morning? No, the rooster is there. That's Krishna's system. So when Krishna would hear the rooster, he'd get out of bed. Yeah. How did Rukmini feel about roosters? She hated roosters because she knew then Krishna was going to leave her. So naturally the wife is very attached to the husband. So like that. So Krishna's, satisfying the wife, but at the same time he would get up and do his puja.
The Mangalati shell is blonde there, and no woman will like because the husband has to leave the Mangalati.
So that's all coming down from Krishna and the original woman Rukmini like that. Yeah. So it's beautiful culture. We can learn so many things from that. But Krishna is showing by example what to do, Very nice. Anyway, time's up. I don't want to hold you up too much.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Lovely to get back together with you again. Missed out last week, so it's good to.
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah.